We're going to bring y'all into our huddle.
You are in the Warriors Huddle with me, Bram. No Maxime or Marcus today, but I am fired up to announce that joining me for the first time in Warriors Huddle history, the prior senior staff writer for the Daily Californian and author for Cal Rivals, who covered all things Cal sports, including women's lacrosse, men's water polo, Cal football, and women's basketball. A Bay Area native and avid filmmaker who worked on a feature-length film production here in San Francisco. The current Clutch Points, Golden State Valkyries, and Golden State Warriors beat recorder who covers every single press conference, shoot, around, and game for both franchises. And a man who thinks the Dubs may have discovered their new death lineup last night in the win against Denver, Mr. Kenzo Fukuda. How are you, man?
Doing great, Bram. That was a great introduction. You really got everything down there. That was fantastic.
You will learn as we go forward today that I've stalked you in preparation. In fact, just pretend like it's normal. Don't get weird about it. And also, let me offer a preemptive apology. So, like I said, man, first time on the show. Every time that happens, I try too hard. I mean, like I'll be kissing your ass a little bit as we go forward. It is what it is. My apologies in advance.
No, all good, all good. Yeah, you got my name right too, which is great. That was good. That was awesome.
I was worried about it. Practiced it a couple times and was supposed to ask you before we hit record. And didn't. So I got to the end of that fucking intro and was like, I just had to throw it out. But hey, it landed. We got
nailed
it.
Nailed it. Yeah.
I have a ton of stuff about the Warriors, about last night's win, all of that. But first time in the huddle, so we got to chase you down a little bit. Let's start here. I said that you were a Bay Area native. I hope I'm right. You from the Bay, man?
Oh, yeah. Born and raised San Francisco. Been here all my life. Went to Cal, so not too far from SF. And yeah, big Bay Area sports fan growing up. Warriors, Niners, Giants. We've been pretty blessed with the Bay Area sports in my era. So yeah, born and raised in SF.
There you go. There's not enough of us in the Bay anymore. Like whenever I meet a native, like someone who is from, so I'm born and raised in Oakland. I've been here my whole life. Post gentrification, everything, it almost feels like running into like a leprechaun when I find someone who's actually from here. So let's go. You'll also see I've been rooting for this team too long. I mean, I go back to like the tortured Cohan era, all of that. So if I resent you for having just experienced like how good they were, try not to pay attention to any of that either.
I remember the Anthony Randolph years, Yeah,
let's go. Hell yes. And I always felt like he was misunderstood. You know what I mean? Like I felt like if he was in this era, he would be phenomenal, but Don Nelson never gave him a chance. So it didn't pan out the way I thought it might for Ant. Here, let's start with Warrior stuff. So looking back, your favorite Warrior of all time, your least favorite opponent.
I mean, favorite Warrior of all time. It's hard to beat Steph Curry when you're growing up as like a 10-year-old watching him kind of go crazy, especially that 2013, 2014 run when they took down the Nuggets in the playoff. That was like kind of just endears you a little kid to Steph Curry. I think the least favorite opponent they've ever played, those Grizzlies years were pretty heated. I did not like the way that team talked about the Warriors. There's a lot of trash talk going back and forth. I think the Dylan Brooks thing was always like bad, and like the way he took out GP2 in the playoffs, I remember being really mad about that. I think the Warriors kind of vanquished that foe, although we'll see how they handle them this year. But I think the Grizzlies were always just like that was like a heated, like bitter rivalry, I think.
There's literally, so I'm recording this from my house, but in a different room. If you were at my house and in the living room, I would show you the hole in the wall that my phone made on the night they lost to Denver. They lost to Memphis by like 45. It was the whoop that trick where Draymond came out and kind of danced along with it. And look, they ended up winning the chip. It was in 22. But I can tell you, Kenzo, if you're ever looking for a way to get everyone else in the room to awkwardly stop talking, throw your phone against a wall and then like immediately everybody feels super out of place. So, you can use that as you like. For me, so look, man, if I was trying to really underline how long I've been rooting for the team, you asked me my favorite player, I'd get cute. I'd tell you like Sharunas Marcelonis, or I'd give you some random ass Vontigo Cummings or something. But of course it's Steph. I mean, we are blessed to have him in our life. And my answer for most hated opponent changes constantly. I think it's getting ready to be Luka. Like now that he's doing all that petulant bullshit in a Laker jersey like that, it'll hit a critical mass where I think he'll be my new face of the I hate this guy franchise, but still Chris Paul for me now. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Luke has got a little bit of work to do to get all the way up there. So if you grew up rooting for the war, you grew up here, you love Steph Curry, is this a dream job, man? I mean,
Oh
now
yeah.
that, yeah, I mean, like this is the first season, you're on the other side of your first home game. I mean, is this kind of a culmination of something you've been working towards for a long time?
Yeah, this was like I didn't think it would happen this fast at all. I didn't think I'd be able to get to like cover Steph Curry, Draymond Green, talk to Steve Kerr
Yep.
this early on because I'm only like 23 and I kind of thought like it'd take a little while to get into an
Yep.
NBA building. I got really, really lucky with clutch points. The Valkyries that was kind of my way in because a new team, they needed a reporter. I covered women's basketball. So it was a lot of like a part of it was like a little bit of like circumstance. I
Yep.
gotta say, like I was in the right place at the right time. But I mean, it is such an honor and privilege to be able to cover this team, especially because like these are guys that like I've followed, I've rooted for, I know a lot just being a fan, and I think it's really cool to be able to do that now as a job.
A couple follow-ups. One, luck is preparation meets opportunity, right? So you
Yeah.
created this. It was what it was. As far as the media scrum, so I've been lucky enough to attend a few practices. I don't go all the time, but the times I go, the skill set of sitting in for like first waiting through the practice itself, it always takes longer than you think. You're not really sure they're going to cough up, and then when you're in that scrum and someone's giving an interview, figuring out when to fire off your question is its own skill set,
Yeah.
and kind of like, where do you fit in this hierarchy? And should I go now? And where is it? Does it, I mean, you're early, but you're on the other side of the Valkyries experience. Does it feel comfortable, man? Or are you still getting your feet underneath you?
I feel way less nervous than I was at the start of the Valkyries beat, just because the Valkyries beat, I had no idea what to expect. That was the first time covering a professional team and also the new team. So like it was kind of a free for all. I think now I'm a lot more comfortable with like phrasing questions, asking questions. Like I think the thing with the Warriors, like there's all these like bigger beat writers, these national reporters. So
Yep.
that's the hierarchy I'm trying to fit in here and there. I think with the Valkyries, I was able to ask questions like some of the like as like the beat report, one of the more main beat reporters ask some of the bigger questions at the start. Now with the Warriors, I kind of have to figure out my niche a little bit, talk to some of the guys lower in the rotation, which is fun. I like getting like Pat Spencer's a great quote. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw when he talked about like teams not valuing IQ and intelligence and
Yeah.
ball handling. So it's been the last like 3 weeks have been kind of crazy, but I feel like I'm getting more of a hang of like what this Warrior beat's going to be.
You are about, I mean, this is an educated guess, let's call it. You're about 1 to 2 months out from when you're going to start lying to people and you're going to start telling them, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care. I don't care who wins. I'm totally objective. All I do is cover the tape. So, I mean, when that happens, fine, but just remember that you and I talked at this time because next time we speak, I'm going to ask you, don't give me bullshit. Tell me that you are still a Warriors fan, and the thing I've seen, so there are people who hook, line, and sinker. I don't root for them at all. I don't care. They're full of shit. There's other people who will tell me like I kind of care, but I have to strangle it. That's a little bit more honest. And I think the middle ground, the Venn diagram that people land on is if the team does well, it drives traffic to your work. So you can pretend like you're only rooting for clutch points, while also rooting for the Warriors. So you can use that if you like. You mentioned the Valkyries, man. I'm gonna put it a different way. You covered the most successful expansion season, I think, in sports history, not WNBA history, not really NBA. I mean, sports history in general. What was that like? I mean, give me some highlights. What was it like covering the Valkyries last year?
That was a really, really fun experience. I think just going to the games, like I think that like just when I think of Valkyries, like the crowd was like incredible.
Yeah.
I think like the only thing that comes close to it is like some of those playoff games in Oracle that I was able to go to. But like that crowd was amazing. It was really cool to cover Natalie Nakase. She's a great quote. Also, as a Japanese American, I'm an Asian American. Like it's really cool to be able to cover Asian American in sports because it's like there aren't that many. Like
Absolutely.
it really is just Jeremy Lin, and right now I guess Shohei like is doing great.
Yeah.
I don't like the Dodgers, so like that's another
Yeah,
struggle.
careful.
Yeah. But it was great. I think like just for me like personally it was like this ground of like just being able to learn how to do this reporting because
Yep.
it is a lot different than college sports. Like it's there's just more nuance to like some of the things you have to do. So Really fun. I was able to travel for the playoff game. It's fun being in Minnesota. Minnesota's a great city. If you ever get a chance to be there. But yeah, Valkyrie's just a great experience.
Be gentle on this response, all right? Because I'm worried about it. I'm going to ask you to compare the crowds, Chase Center crowd and for the Valkyries and Chase Center crowd for the Warriors. I mean, I've told you I'm from Oakland. I'm pissy about the loss of passion. So I mean, I think you're going to tell me Valkyries, but when you do, just be gentle with it. You know, I mean But yeah. So what do you think? Who has a better crowd on a day-to-day, game-by-game basis? Valkyries or the Warriors?
Definitely Valkyrie. I will say, like I was talking to someone about this recently, but the when Steph is going off at Chase Center, it matches how loud it gets a little louder than Valhalla. Just because like last game, we'll get to the last game, but like he just made a gesture and the whole crowd, like I think 10,000 people just stood up as soon as he did that, which is that's Steph. But I think Valhalla, like consistently across the game, they're just shouting and screaming, and like it just doesn't die down.
The principal difference I've noticed, because I went to a couple of Valkyries games, and the Valkyries reminded me of old school Warriors fans in that they are there to support the Valkyries. So the Valkyries are playing well, they're loud. If they're playing poorly, they're loud. They try to get them up.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the dynasty track, man, Warrior fans stop that. They're there to celebrate. And so if you're playing well, great, they'll go crazy. And if Steph invites them, they'll go crazy. But if you're playing poorly, it's almost like a crowd for a bad movie. People are like sad and they go down, and it's a thing that we've lost that drives me crazy. Nicely handled on giving me they're a little bit louder with Steph. I don't know if you meant it, but it meant a lot to me. So thank you. Let's talk Warriors, man. And let's go to a segment we do each time. This one's called the Glass Half Full. Look back at recent Warriors hoop. Give me something you like or don't. I want you to take us first, man. And any direction you want to go.
I'll start a little smaller. I think Will Richards been kind of he's rising. I don't know like exactly what he's going to be for this team right now. I think they're still trying to figure that out. But he looked really, really good in some really important minutes. That play when he got the jump ball with like his 6'10" wingspan and walked into a 3-pointer. That's one of those plays where you don't make that, you're not playing for the next like 2 games. That was huge because like they were down 9 and that totally got the crowd going. And I think he's just been so ready, and like the way I just like in all these press conferences we talked to him, he's just always very humble and is like talking about how he can absorb the game from these veterans. And that's the kind of guy you kind of want right now with like Steph and Draymond, this guy who's just gonna like he's saying stuff like I like being next to Steph is the honor of my life, which is I kind of can relate. But yeah, no, that guy he's playing really well right now.
He is oozing confidence and competence.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's done on the defensive end immediately is, I mean, he's a piece. They got a steal. Again, another second rounder. You can see the experience he had at Florida, and you can see how much Kerr likes him. He fired off a pretty bad 3-ball early in a possession in the third quarter. And it was the kind of thing where like almost anybody else does. JK did that shit last year. He was gone immediately, but Kerr gave him a little bit of extra room, which I really liked. Here, I'll go bigger picture. I like not just beating Denver. I like beating Denver when all of their Pistons are firing. Joker has a triple-double. Murray ends up with 25. Fucking Aaron Gordon has a 50-piece on 90% shooting. And despite all of that, the Warriors hang on, force it to OT, and pull a win. And Kenzo, this is way too early for me to say something like this. It's ridiculous what I'm about to say, but this is the kind of win where they probably should have lost and they had every reason to kind of let go of the world that happens during seasons that are kind of special, and so who knows, man, we're 2 games in. I mean, it's hard to say it, but I gave up more times than I care to admit to you. I mean, I watched it in a bar. I was with friends and kept doing that thing like, well, it's over now. And then no, they pulled it out. So, a really satisfying win. I'll give you one more and then back to you. And it's kind of a film analogy. So in ensemble movies, think like bank robbery movies like Ocean's 12, or more recently now, superhero movies. If it's done well, and we've got 5 or 6 heroes who we're going to meet, they won't smash them all into the beginning. We'll slowly meet them one by one over a course of like 10, 15 minutes. And we get to see first them, then what they can do, and then another person, what they can do. These first 2 games have reminded me of that. The first game, We needed Butler's calm, cool, collected close, and he got to the fucking line and he got the free throws when we needed it. And he showed us who he was. This last game, we got Steph's controlled chaos and forcing into overtime when it seemed impossible. We had Al Horford slowly remind us why he's been such a great addition and what this could be. And so it's just been a really cool, slow burn of excellence to begin the season. And I like it, man. I mean, I've really been enjoying it. And I worked on that analogy for like almost 10 minutes before we recorded. So I don't know if it landed, but I felt good about it.
No, it makes sense. This season, just to your point, this season compared to last season, it felt like Steph, Lone Star, with a bunch of supporting actors who weren't really able to like help him be great. And this season, it feels like the supporting cast is they just feel deeper. They feel way deeper. They have way more versatility. They have way more options, which kind of goes into my next glass half full. That jumbo lineup they closed with is they hadn't practiced it. They hadn't even talked about it. And I think I don't know. I wrote an article today. It might be their new death lineup. I don't know for sure yet, but it at least gives them the option to play big because the Nuggets were destroying them with Joker and Gordon just killing whoever was out there because they could only go with either Horford or they're staggering their minutes. And that lineup matched them. Joker went 3 of 12 whenever Horford was guarding him. And the big problem with that lineup that they were talking about was they weren't sure if they were going to have enough spacing. And it was fine. JK was able to hit some shots. Butler hit the dagger 3. Curry's going to do Curry things. And it just felt like that lineup, they have at the very worst, they have an option to go to if in end of games.
I liked the quote you pulled from Kerr on that, in that he basically admitted, look, they were torching us. I mean, they were just torching us. And it was DeMarco, it was our assistant coaches who came to me and said, well, let's maybe try this. And his vulnerability with that to say, that lineup you just saw that we stumbled into and closed out one of the title contending teams in the West, we hadn't even considered before. We had no idea. We didn't practice it, but hey, it worked out perfect. Kenzo, I got some golden questions for you. Before I do, a quick word from our sponsors. Huddle listeners. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. And if you get your picks right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Kenzo, I love this app. It's done this thing where it takes something I already love, watching basketball, and then makes me have personal stakes in it and gives me the slight chance of I can turn my Warriors knowledge into actual money. And so I'm doing it tonight. Yeah, the over-under, as we record this, the Warriors are getting ready to go into Portland. The over, I'm not allowed to say those phrases. The higher lower for Steph Curry's point total tonight is 24.5. I'm an unabashed homer, as I've shown to you already. So I am taking the higher. I'm all the way in. We'll see how that plays out for me. Download the app today. Use promo code WHP, as in Warriors Huddle Podcast, to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code WHP. Underdog. Make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_HTML for details. Offer isn't valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. And if you're concerned with your play, a bunch of options, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. And in New York, you can call the 24/7 Hope line, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY. What do you think, Kenzo? Higher or lower? 25.5 for Steph today.
I might go under just because I think they're a little tired and they might restrict his minutes a little bit. But we'll also talk about that later.
I mean, I told you that I had money on it. Where the fuck were you this 10 seconds ago? You could have saved me. I mean, maybe I should have asked you before I did the read.
It was such a beautiful ad read. I couldn't interrupt.
Yeah, you could have been like, do you want one of these? Something like that. Maybe texted me, whatever. We'll work out the details. To our golden questions, this is basically our version of a mailbag. It always deals with the Warriors, occasionally gets personal. Today, it's only Warrior stuff, fortunately enough. We'll save some of the personal stuff for when we get you back on a future episode. But here's the first, and you already kind of alluded to it. So tonight's our first back-to-back. They've got a couple early in the season, which I guess is good. I mean, if they're going to happen, we want to get them out of the way. What do you anticipate as far as rest? I mean, did Kerr insinuate anything? I mean, yeah, what should we look for tonight?
The only thing Kerr specifically insinuated and just went flat out and said it, Horford's not playing in any not playing both ends of a back-to-back this at all this season.
Okay.
It's something he did in Boston. They had a meeting, they talked about it. So that, I mean, that's why they kind of pushed their chips in last night with Horford. Horford played 26 minutes, which is like a little bit more than Kerr kind of wanted. As for Draymond, Steph, and Jimmy, they're good to go for all things are concerned. But I think just the vibe based on what the team's been saying is like their minutes are not going to be that much, not as high as last night. So I'd expect a deeper into the bench. I think more Guy Santos minutes, maybe some more Pat Spencer stuff here and there. They only went like I think 9 or 10 deep last game, and they only played Quinn Post like 2 or 3 minutes. So I just expect a longer rotation.
When we saw Horford getting the type of minutes and burn he was in the fourth, that's what I thought the same thing, is that they must be pretty comfortable. He's got here's a question that is impossible to answer, but what do you think they face in Portland? I mean, this whole Chauncey Billups thing, it'd be like their world is burning. And it's a young team, I can see if I was a young Portland Trailblazer, there's a possibility of like, you just throw yourself into the team, to like insulate yourself from the chaos. I just care everything about basketball, in which case they'd play better. Or I can see it just being a shit show. I mean, like nobody knowing how to deal with anything. So I mean, what do you anticipate, man? It's a guess, but an educated one.
See, the Warrior fan in me is like, this is such a trap game. This is is exactly the kind of game the Warriors have lost in the last like 3 years. Like,
and some dude we've never heard of is going to go like 19 of 20 from 3.
Oh yeah, Tumani Kamara is going to go 9 for 10, just like Aaron Gordon tonight. Like so that's kind of what like I kind of expect. Just it's like the Ewing theory where it's like the team plays better after something crazy happens. So that's kind of what I think it's going to be a hard fight. That Portland team is long and athletic, and that tends to be what gives these older Warriors some trouble. So it won't be a dump tonight, I don't think.
I'll consider this a reverse jinx. Also, I love the idea of we're creating the Chauncey Billups theory, which means if your coach is running a poker game for four criminal families, maybe it really helps your team. But I guess we'll find out. We'll have to recheck after tonight. Moses comes back. What do you expect? I mean, let me put that a different way. How does Moody help this team be even better than they've been in those first 2 games?
I think we kind of saw it last night. Like the point of attack defense was pretty terrible other than JK. Like Kuminga's been good as the perimeter defender, but everyone else looks kind of slow. I think Pod's being kind of bad as a perimeter defender is a little concerning. So Moody will give them some length on that end. They kind of want him to be that Andrew Wiggins guard, the point guards, the shooting guards, the best player on the other team kind of guy. And on the other end, he'll hit some threes. He had I know like last playoffs he was kind of like streaky, like not to say the least. But he had surgery on that thumb.
He was hurt, yeah,
he was hurt. So he looked good in training camp. I think I again, like maybe bouncing back from injury, it might be a little tricky here and there, but and his minutes might be a little restricted, even if they don't say that. But I think like him and Kuminga, I'm actually really excited for this season. They both look really good.
Moody has always had such a high floor. I mean, his ceiling, I think we're still kind of figuring out, and there's hope for a Moody breakout year, and we'll see how that plays. But even if he doesn't expand his game, what he's already capable of doing, I mean, can be a knockdown shooter, understands the offense, was willing to make the extra pass before JK was, and so I like that he's coming back, and I like that we got a couple other people in our pocket. I think people have forgotten how good DeAnthony Melton is in this system. And I also think they've forgotten that Seth Curry had a higher 3-point percentage than Steph did last year, which is, I mean, one of those silly, stupid stats, but he can shoot, and if you add shooting to a team, it's encouraging. And let me ask you this. So if you talk to Warrior fans, we're all trying to be play it cool with our optimism. It's only 2 games, but 2 games against what felt to be important opponents. We hate the Lakers, and Denver is everybody's favorite 2nd seed in the West. And now here we are, we're 2-0, and reasons to expect them to be successful tonight. How many games do you give yourself before you feel like you know the team? because 2 isn't the answer, So
Yeah.
is it 5? I remember last year the pundits were saying 15. Like where do you put the line?
If it wasn't for any other team besides the Warriors, I think I would say like 10 games. But last season, like what they start like 12-3, that was
Yeah.
15 games, and then
And
the
went
wheels
3 and
fell off.
12. Yeah.
Yeah, the wheels fell off. And I think the year before that, what they were like 6-2. So and then the wheels fell off again. So I think I will say for this team this year, just because they seem more infrastructurally stable with Jimmy Butler in the building, I think we'll kind of know what they are like 10 or 12 games
Yeah.
in. They have a hard schedule to open too. They're on the road a little bit, some more back to back,
Yeah.
so we'll learn a lot.
I lost, came close to leaving or losing even more, but I lost years off my life during that like 4 or 5 minute stretch in the fourth quarter against the Lakers where it looked like we were going to piss it away. And in all the ways they have,
Yeah.
Steph came in and it was a bad turnover. And then they shot an early in the shot clock 3 that missed. And it felt like, oh, we're going to piss this one. And watching Jimmy be the adult, like, no, I'm going to get to the line. I'm going to get layups. It's just such a comforting security blanket for a team that, like we've had a ton of success, but throwing away leads has kind of been a part of our legacy, and having a guy to make sure that that's not going down really helps. I agree with you. 10 games at least for me, somewhere around there. Although if they go 5-0, I reserve the right to start calling them world champions. So we'll see. We'll see how we get. Last question, man. If you had to bet something significant to you, rent payment, car payment, something, so, some number that means something to you, who wins a title first, the Golden State Valkyries or the Golden State Warriors?
I think I think it's I think it's the Valkyries.
You bastard.
Like I just think the path is easier for the Valkyries just because I think they're going big star hunting this offseason. I think Joe Lacob seems really, really excited to put the gas on the pedal and like get like they're not gonna get Asia. Like I think the Valkyrie fans have kind of been like, we're gonna get Asia Wilson. That's not happening. I don't think that's happening. If that happens, then that's great for me. But they're gonna go for like, I mean, Sabrina Ionescu was in the building for that Warriors home opener. Like she's from the Bay Area. Maybe Joe Lacob convinces her to
Relationship with Steph too, right? Like
relationship with Steph.
they
Yeah,
go back.
they go back. They get like maybe Breonna Stewart. Like I think they're gonna go find a star, and with the coaching and like the infrastructure, they also just they have this advantage where like the organization just invests a lot of resources into them.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, I think Joe Lacob just wants to win with the Valkyries. So that's kind of why.
Well, and the WNBA hasn't isolated themselves against checkbook wins yet.
Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors did. I mean, they changed the whole CBA. It was a large portion of it, and that hasn't gone down, and in the WNBA yet.
Yeah.
And so I can see you. You give Joe Lacob, who's already ridiculously competitive, and he's already made $450 million on the franchise. You give him an open playing field like this, and I can see I can see where you're coming from. I refuse to agree with you. You can fuck yourself, Kenzo. I think you're totally wrong, but I can absolutely see where you're coming from. I've been looking forward to today. I really appreciate you giving me some time, and I tell you what, I'm not alone. If there's people out there who need way more Kenzo in their life, where should they go?
You can follow me on Twitter. It's Kenzo Fuku. I post all Warrior stuff. I had a Valkyrie story that came out today. Got to talk to Veronica Byrne a little bit. So that please give that a read. And yeah, I'll be at these Warrior games. So you can follow me on Clutch Points. Usually posting mostly every day. Days here and there. I have to do other things. But you can follow me there. And yeah, this is such an honor to be on this podcast. My dad loves your podcast, so he says hi.
Excellent. Well, what's his name?
Matt Fukuda.
Matt, you're the man. Tell your son to be a little bit more of a Warriors over Valkyries fan, but everything else, you've done a great job. Kenzo, this was our pleasure. Huddle family, he's part of us now. Make sure that you hit his work. He is good at what he does. This was not a random selection. I've been very impressed with everything he has put out there. So make sure to check it out. For us, you know where to find us. We're on social media. Or really the only thing I'll pimp right now is the YouTube channel. Get out there. We need more subscribers. Check out what Maxime and Marcus are doing. With that in mind, go Warriors, go Steph, higher than 24.5. And hopefully we'll see you real soon.
Good.